Hello traders, Rich here and welcome to a new educational video. Many members ask me, especially after posting this one, why I always draw my trend lines as zones and not laser lines. So here we go. As we all know, trend lines are non-horizontal support and resistance, and we either look for trend continuation around it. For example, here we look for sell setups on 3 test, right? Or we look for trend reversals. So we enter buy after a break above the trend line. And of course, vice versa in case of a rising trend line, we try to find buy setups around our lower trend line as it's now acting as support, right? Non-horizontal support. And of course, when it's broken downward, we can speculate a trend reversal. However, as I always say, trend lines are just horizontal support and resistance. They are zones on our charts and not laser lines. And as you can see here, I already have my zone and level. For those who drew this one as a level, they may miss this movement, right? Why? Because they connect the swing and the swing, right? But then the price undershoot the support and trade it higher from here. So you either undershoot or price can still go down, break your support in this case, support level, and then trade higher. That's why we always see our support and resistance as zones, and as price approaches the zone, will be looking for extra confirmation to buy, or if price undershoot it, we may not bought yet, right? Wait for extra confirmation, and of course, if price breaks it down aggressively, it will become resistance, and we'll be looking for some setups on 3 test. But for now, let's focus on trend lines. And many traders draw the trend lines on lower time frames, and many ask me, when do I draw my trend lines on which time frame, and when do I know that it's going to be broken or not? To answer that question, it depends on your trading style. So what I do is, personally, I consider that trend lines from M30 and H1 timeframes mostly are my trigger trend lines. For example, I wait for 3 swings to form around it, and then I enter break on this break and enter a reversal trade on its break upward or downward in case of a rising trend line. Right, so that's exactly what happened, and now I'm speculating a third swing from around it, and then I will enter buy on spec upward. And on higher time frames, I treat my supports, my trend lines, as non-horizontal support and resistance, and I buy and sell as trend following setup. For example, let me give you an example on this one, as I already have posted one with a zone trend lines. Here we go. So on H4 time frame, we have a zoomed out time frame, a bigger time frame, where we identify the overall direction. So if you draw your trend line like this, then you might miss this movement, right? But since we drew our trend line like this, and we made an offset upward and downward, now we can treat our trend lines as zones. And as price approaches this zone, we will look for extra confirmation, depends on your trading plan and trading rules, to buy or to look for sell if it's broken downward on the retest, right? Let me give you an example, as many traders get confused on how to draw your trend lines using the wicks, using the bodies, or how. First of all, let me give you a falling trend line, and I'll give you another example on a rising trend line. So first of all, since this trend line is from a higher time frame, so we can use it as an overall direction, right? And if you draw your trend line like this and you treat it as a level, then maybe you would have sold immediately here, and price overshoot a little bit and then went down. That's why you always try to make an offset. But how we make the offset? We simply press on Control and hold, and press on our trend line and go higher or lower. First of all, we go lower and we try to catch the previous movement. So here, as you can see, we can make it like this, as here we have many wicks, or we can call it shadow, tail, or whatever, right? So here we can stop, and then we can make an offset at at exactly or visually equal to the previous offset, like this. So this one is now acting as a zone trend line. And as you saw on the last chart, I tried to make this one a little bit, here we go, like this, so that the zone doesn't bother my eyes. So here we go. We have a zone trend lines, a non-horizontal, uh, in this case, non-horizontal resistance zone. And when the trend line is broken, we don't buy immediately. Why? Because many traders draw trend lines differently. So we want, just like support and resistance, if it's broken upward, it doesn't mean that you should buy immediately, right? Because trader A may have drew his trend line like this, but trader B drew it like this, and this one is still acting as resistance for him. While you bought here, many traders are still looking for sell here, right? So that's why we draw our support and resistance as zones. And once this entire zone is broken upward aggressively, then we can say that our resistance is now broken and may act as a potential support, right? The exact same thing on with trend lines. So when it's broken upward, we don't buy immediately. We wanted to confirm that this break is not just a fake out, right? So as per my trading style, I always wait for a break above the previous swing high. Let me give you another example, and of course, many of you saw this gray box, which I call my trigger swing. Let me give you another example. Here we go. Here we have a very useful example. If we zoom out, we can see that we can already draw a trend line by connecting these three swings, right? Here we go. Let me make it like this. And yes, so from this swing and this swing, we can draw a potential non-horizontal support, right? So when price approaches it again, we can zoom into lower time frames and look for potential buy setups. For example, as per my trading style, I draw, for example, this trend line and I wait on its break downward, just like you saw previously on the N30 chart. But for now, let's focus on the break, right? So we have a valid trend line connecting at least three swings. So now if price breaks it downward, we can sell, right? But look what happened. Here we go. Here we go. So we have a valid trend line, and many traders would have sold here as price already broke this one even after this bearish candle close, right? And look what happened. Here we go. Price continue and traded higher, right? Why? Because they are treating their trend lines as laser levels. First, second, here we go. The first problem is solved when we treat our support and resistance as zones on our charts and not laser lines. That's first. And as you can see, this zone is not broken yet. And even if the entire zone is broken down, we will not sell immediately. How we do it? We simply, as mentioned before, here's our trigger swing. So to confirm the reversal from a market structure 101, if price is making higher highs and higher lows until the previous swing low is broken, we would be in an uptrend. So price can still go down and then go up, right? Until the previous swing low is broken, then we can say that we might have a potential reversal. And I insist on the word potential, right? Here we go, let me delete this one. So for now, even if the entire zone is broken, in this case it's not broken, right? So in this case we can zoom into lower time frames and look for potential buy setups. For example, we have this time frame is from H4. If we zoom out to M30 time frame, we can see that we have a swing here, here, and here. So we have a valid trend line connecting at least three swings, and here's our trigger swing. So after a break above this swing, then we can say that we might have a potential reversal. Here we go. So you can enter buy here, stop loss, and take profit. Here we go. So for this one, we didn't sell this one, even if price breaks below our trend line or even below the zone. In this case, it didn't, but let's say it breaks below this zone. We will not sell until price breaks below the previous swing low. So you can also use this as extra confirmation. Always wait for the previous swing low in this case, or swing high in case you are looking for buy setups to confirm the trend reversal. Okay, and that's it for trend lines. I hope you found it useful, and of course I wish you best of luck. Let me make this one. Here we go, and that's it. And that's what that's one. I can't really find it. Here we go. And I'll see you on the next one.